Today we wanted to talk about tenant screening and lease agreement for you if you are an investor in real estate.
Now, a lot of what we're going to talk about is generalities. I would recommend if you're using Greenville, in the Greenville area, talk to us. We're happy to talk to you about what is involved with like the contract that's in the state contract.
Exactly.
However, one of the things landlords typically have issues with is finding dependable tenants. So there are ways to screen, and you want to make sure the lease agreement follows this. So you are actually keeping your money and keeping the property in reasonable condition. So you want to have property management, tenant relations, and all of this combined is going to help you be a happy landlord.
Exactly. Therefore, really, as my wife said, the screening is about the tenant is able to pay the rent and at the same time take good care of the property that you give them.
Right. So the first thing you're going to do is have somebody run a background check. The background check is going to give you some credit history, criminal record, past evictions, and of course all of these can be red flags, but the credit in the background check isn't enough. I would say actually run the full credit report, which is what you're going to talk about.
Exactly. Therefore, credit report really also give you insight about the financial behavior of the tenants, and also tells you that, for example, what is the debt to income ratio is, what is they were timely paying their debt, whatever it is. And of course, some people, they have other debt that, like a student loan, that is acceptable, and show that responsibility.
Before we do more, let's do our introduction. Let's hit it. Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. Now we're going to talk about employment verification. You are allowed to get employment verification. You can either look for the monthly income that's already happening, get the letter that they're going to get the job, and you want to kind of look, the ideal is, of course, they're going to pay, you have 3 times the rent and what they make. It can be less, but that's the ideal. What's the next one?
Another thing that you can do is a landlord references. Basically, you can back to the people that they were previous landlord of the prospective tenants and ask them that if they were paying on time, what was their behavior, did they take care of the property good enough? And that is also super important.
Next thing we're going to talk about is basically lease agreements, and we're looking for generalities. I would recommend using the North Carolina one. Keep yourself out of danger, but if you're writing your own, let's talk about some basic stuff. Obviously, you want personal information in there. What's their full legal name? What's their contact information? What's their emergency contact? And make sure this is filled out correctly so you can actually read it and it's legible. What's another thing you want to make sure?
The next one is really is about rental term that is specified the start date and the end date, and also fixed term lease, like it is over the 1 year was a month-to-month arrangement.
Okay, next thing is you want to make sure the rent details are very clear. What is the rent, how much the rent is, when is it due, what are the payment methods, and policies about late payment all have to be clearly listed.
The next one is a security deposit, and which outline how much security deposit they put, and also condition of their return money. And it depends on the state that you live and the law that it governs in that states for the security deposit.
The next one is property rules. If there are rules, you have to say what is and what is not allowed. Is there a pet policy? Is there a noise policy? Is there a sublease policy? Any property specific regulations that are involved that you are putting on those rules, we have to make the rules and be clear about the rules when we're putting. You can't just show up and say, oh, you have a cat 6 months after they moved in. You never said you had a pet policy. So you have to be upfront with these things.
Exactly. The next thing is really property maintenance and repairs. That you need to specify and clarify who is responsible for what, and basically the request for the maintenance is upon that what clarification that you did and what type of repairs is going to cover by you or by your tenant.
Next one is legal disclosure. So again, make sure that lead paint is disclosed, asbestos disclosed, mold disclosed, anything that might be wrong with the property, disclose it. It is a reason a tenant can terminate if you've not. So make sure everything is listed up front so you don't have any problems later.
Exactly. And finally is the signature that all the parties sign and date. And this basically formalizes the agreement between you and your tenant.
So we hope you like this quick little video. I know it's not a lot. We just kind of gave you the basic information, but we wanted to start with that so you would have more information to kind of go down the hole if you are going to make this transition from just being a homeowner to possibly a landlord.
Exactly. And don't forget to call us at 252-327-3357. Alan Victoria Pinder, local real estate agent in Greenville and Winterville, North Carolina. We love to help you. And also watch these videos for more information, and see you next time.